Chaos brewing at Parkhead as Celtic's wonder kid is spotted in England ahead of a shock move. A managerial shakeup at Tynecastle as McInnes takes the reins and sets his sights on turning Hearts into contenders. For Park's teenage sensation Lennon Miller could be on his way out with big clubs circling. Absolute carnage at Dens Park as Dundee sack Tony Docherty and clear out the entire backroom staff. And finally, Steve Clarke drops bombshells with his latest Scotland squad, including surprise picks and glaring omissions from Celtic and Hearts. We are talking clubs first and wrapping up with Clarke's Scotland squad, alright? Smash that like button, check if you are subscribed to the channel, and let's get into it. Daniel Cummings, the 19-year-old goal machine from Celtic's B team, looks to be packing his bags and heading south. And no, it is not for a wee summer holiday. The lad was spotted at a West Ham match, taking in the action as the London club faced Nottingham Forest. And let's be honest, if you are in the stands at the London Stadium during contract talk season, you're not there for the overpriced snacks. Cummings has been tearing it up in the Lowland League, bagging 23 goals in 28 appearances, plus a cheeky 6 more in the UEFA Youth League. Not bad at all. West Ham tried their luck back in January with an offer of £500,000, which Celtic promptly swatted away. But now, with his contract running out faster than a pint at the pub, the Hammers are ready to scoop him up for a development fee of around £300,000. Graham Potter is reportedly leading the charm offensive, with Mark Noble thrown in for good measure, whispering sweet nothings about first-team chances next season. And honestly, who better to sell you the dream than the man who bled claret and blue for 2 decades? Celtic boss Brendan Rodgers did try to keep hold of the youngster, but even he admitted it is tough stopping young talents from heading to England. He also threw in a jab at some agents, hinting they might be more interested in the next commission than the kid's actual career path. Fair play to him for saying what many think. Cummings even made his senior debut for Celtic in the Champions League this season, but it looks like that may have been his first and last real taste of the top flight in green and white. Another promising talent seemingly on his way out before the Parkhead faithful even got to sing his name properly. And now I want to hear from you. Is Scottish football failing its young talents by letting them slip away too soon? Or is it just smart business in today's game? Let me know what you think. Hearts have finally put the managerial merry-go-round to bed and handed the keys to Tynecastle to McInnes. That is right, the former Kilmarnock boss is now the main man in Gorgie, walking in with a 4-year deal, and the weight of expectation from a club that has not exactly been the picture of stability lately. McInnes is bringing the full Rugby Park band with him. Paul Sheeran and Alan Archibald are also trading blue for maroon, forming a coaching trio that Hearts are hoping will stop the revolving door of manager. To be fair, after a season that saw them bend Stephen Naismith and Neil Critchley, and only steady the ship thanks to Liam Fox's mini resurgence at the end, someone had to bring a bit of grown-up energy into the building. The 53-year-old comes with a proper CV. He took St. Johnstone up to the Premiership, had a chaotic little spell at Bristol City, and then worked wonders at Aberdeen. 7 full seasons, never outside the top 4, 4 cup finals, and a Scottish League Cup win. Not too shabby. Plus, he had the Dons in Europe 7 years running, pushing teams like Sporting Lisbon and Burnley closer than many would expect. His most recent project was, of course, Kilmarnock. Took them back to the top flight at the first attempt, and even bagged a 4th place finish last season, earning a European adventure for the first time in 2 decades. Tromsø were toppled, Brugge and Copenhagen not so much. But still, not bad for a side many expected to just cling on in the Premiership. Now, Hearts fans will be hoping McInnes can bring that same grit, organization, and occasional glamour to Tynecastle. The squad needs direction, the supporters need belief, and the board needs this appointment to actually last. After all, a 4-year contract is quite the commitment in a league where most managers barely get 4 months. But here's the real spicy one to chew on. Has McInnes peaked already? Or is this the perfect club for him to finally win big outside of Aberdeen? Let me know what you think. Lennon Miller, 18 years old, captain's armband already on his sleeve. And now half of Scotland's top flight scrambling for his signature like it is the January. The Motherwell midfielder has just wrapped up a stellar season, winning both the PFA, Scotland, and Scottish Football Writers Association Young Player of the Year awards, and apparently attracting serious attention from none other than Celtic. Michael Wimmer, the man in charge at Fir Park, was not exactly hiding his thoughts after the season-ending draw in Dingwall. When asked about Miller's future, he basically handed clubs the sales pitch on a silver platter. If a club is smart, you try to get Lennon, he said. Not exactly playing hard to get, is he? Now, to be fair, Miller has shown more composure and consistency than players 10 years older than him. He is not just a promising talent, he is already a key part of Motherwell's midfield. Wimmer clearly rates him and admits they are preparing for life both with and without the youngster. And let us be honest, in Scottish football, if you are preparing for both situations, you are usually preparing for the one where the player disappears before the next pre-season photo shoot. Celtic were sniffing around back in January, but held back, probably trying to avoid another bidding war for a teenager. But with Miller's stock only rising, it might be a case of move now or miss out. The lad himself is staying cool, claiming he is leaving it all to his agent and just focusing on points from Motherwell. A wise head on young shoulders, or at least a media-trained one. Still, with his contract running until next summer, any move now is going to cost someone a tidy little sum. That means the decision could come down to whether Motherwell fancy cashing in or risking losing him for less later. And if Celtic wanting to slot in behind Matt O'Reilly or replace him outright, the time might just be now. So here's what I want to know. If Lennon Miller joins Celtic, will he actually get proper game time? Or is he just another name on a long list of young talents who disappear into the B-team shadows? What do you think? Dundee have dropped the axe and cleared house. Manager Tony Docherty, assistant Stuart Taylor, goalkeeping coach Alan Kuhn, and head of performance Graham Henderson have all been sent packing, effective immediately. No drawn-out farewell, no gentle reshuffle, just a clean break as the club plots a new course after finishing 10th in the Scottish Premiership. Now, let us be fair. Docherty was only appointed last May, took the club straight into a top 6 finish in his debut campaign, and ensured they stayed in the top flight without having to sweat through a playoff. Not exactly the worst CV for a first season, but after a promising start, the wheels wobbled. Results dipped and expectations apparently were not met. In football speak, that usually means someone upstairs thought, thanks for the memories, but we are aiming higher. Complicating matters, the man had to start the season without his captain. Luke McCowan was whisked off to Celtic on deadline day, leaving Docherty with a midfield-sized hole and not much time to fill it. Now McCowan is off chasing the treble, and Docherty is polishing up the old CV. And who might be next in the Dens Park hot seat? None other than former Celtic attacker Sean Maloney, a man with a Parkhead pedigree but a patchy managerial track record. After a flat stint at Hibernian and a forgettable spell with Wigan, Maloney is reportedly in the frame for the Dundee job. There is history here too. Back in 2022, he was already on the club's radar, thanks to Gordon Strachan, who knows the lad from his trophy-laden Celtic days. But here is the twist. Maloney might carry that Celtic shine, but his time as a manager has not exactly dazzled. 1 win in 13 with Hibs is not the kind of stat that screams Project Savior. And with Dundee's defense leaking goals like a busted hose, whoever comes in will need more than good vibes and a famous pass to sort things out. Docherty never managed to beat Celtic in 7 attempts, though he did manage a wild 3-3 draw at Dens Park this season that nearly snapped a 37-year winless streak against the Hoots. Now Maloney could get the chance to finally end that drought himself, if he is brave enough to take the job. Is Dundee making a smart move by clearing out the current staff and chasing a name like Sean Maloney, or are they just swapping stability for sentiment? Scotland's squad for the upcoming friendlies against Iceland and Liechtenstein has landed, and Steve Clarke has sprinkled in a bit of the unexpected just to keep everyone guessing. The big headline? Hibernian's Kieran Bowie is in. Yes, you read that right. The 22-year-old striker has been handed his first senior call-up after impressing at Easter Road, including a timely goal against Rangers that probably sealed the deal in Clarke's notebook. Bowie, who cut his teeth at Raith Rovers and had a spell with Fulham, overcame a nasty hamstring injury earlier this season and still helped Hibs to a third-place finish. Not bad for a debut campaign in green. He joins a forward line that includes Che Adams, George Hurst, Tommy Conway, and Hearts teenager James Wilson, who keeps his place after winning his first cap in March. Speaking of Hearts, Craig Gordon misses out again as he continues to recover from injury. The 42-year-old veteran is being replaced in the squad by Kilmarnock's Robbie McCrory, Ipswich's Ciaran Slicker, and Angus Gunn, who is currently without a club after leaving Norwich. At the back, Josh Doig returns after a strong season, helping Sassuolo bounce back in Italy. Anthony Ralston and Liverpool's Andy Robertson are in as expected, while Kieran Tierney, soon to be officially unveiled at Parkhead once more, is also included. Everton's Nathan Patterson makes a welcome return after over a year out, and Rangers' John Souter continues his run in the national setup. In midfield, the buzz around Lennon Miller continues. The Motherwell teenager keeps his place after sweeping the Young Player Awards and showing he belongs at this level. He lines up alongside familiar names like John McGinn, Billy Gilmour, Scott McTominay, and Lewis Ferguson, with Rangers' Connor Barron and West Ham's Andy Irving also included. But it is the absentees that are bound to raise eyebrows. No Greg Taylor from Celtic, no Lawrence Shanklin from Hearts, and no Kevin Nisbet from Aberdeen. Injuries rule out Aaron Hickey and Lyndon Dykes, but Shanklin's omission is the real head-scratcher. The man has been banging in goals for fun and dragging Hearts out of the mire more times than anyone cares to count. And here is where it gets juicy. If Clarke is building towards World Cup qualifiers, why leave out proven scorers like Shanklin and Nisbet? Has he seen enough to move on, or is he taking a massive gamble by banking on youth and potential over experience? Has Steve Clarke just made a bold step forward with this squad, or has he lost the plot by ignoring players like Shanklin, who have done everything short of tattooing "Pick Me" across their foreheads? Tell me what you think.